Hello and welcome to today's Polka Markets update video where we'll look at the Polkadot Markets, and that includes all the Parachain coins, or some of the Parachain coins. I wouldn't say exactly all of them, mostly the ones available on KuCoin, because the majority are on here. There are some that are also on MEXC, but we don't check those. We just check the main ones that we normally cover on this channel, of course, because most of the others are on DEXs. Now, apologies for not doing this video yesterday because I normally do this on a Sunday. I wasn't able to, unfortunately, so I'm doing it now. So we'll kick things off right now. I'm also going to do another news video as well a bit later today, so stay tuned for that. We do have some news from the Polkadot ecosystem which I want to share with you. I'm sure you're going to find them interesting, so make sure to stay tuned for that news video a bit later today. So let's kick things off with Phala here. So Phala has been extremely stable. I'm actually surprised. They did have a few pops here. The last pop that he had here was on the 2nd of December to just over 17 cents. As you can see here, it had this nice week here, but it has pulled back, of course, and it's been holding really well around this level, which I'm really surprised considering the staking rewards are still quite high. We're talking about 65% on average across all the different pools. Remember, each validator can have multiple pools, and so what they normally do is they spread those pools across maybe 3 or 4 pools for each validator, and they usually have different APY depending on how much FA is actually staked on it, right? And that's how it works. So about 65%, like I said. Some of them are 80% as well. It is very hard to find them, but some are. And I am staked with some of them that are over 80%, and I have to say I'm really happy. What I tend to do is I tend to sell those staking rewards on a daily basis. If the price is above 15 cents, for me that's good enough. I sell the staking rewards and I reinvest that into other coins because I'm trying to stack up those bags in this bear market as much as possible to be prepared for the bull market. I'm pretty sure we're gonna have another year of bear market, so if we can see the price stabilize around this for a while, maybe even push a bit higher, that would be so awesome for everyone holding Phala. Considering that there's less being inserted into the circulation now, there's less inflation because of this halving event that has happened, well, a 25% drop in the staking rewards. But remember, there will be another one in 6 months time, about 5 months and 4 weeks right now from the time I'm doing this video, so plenty of time left to enjoy the high APY for now. So yeah, 15 cents is a great support line. I love it. If we are to lose it though, we can see as low as 10 cents and then even 7 cents, which is quite scary if you think about it. Even with the high APR, you know, it will hurt depending on what bag size you have. But I mean, you get these weeks now and again, which is pretty cool, right? So you get a chance to maybe sell some staking rewards at higher prices by simply placing a sell order and just waiting for it to happen. Not financial advice, but that's how I would do it, right? I'm happy enough, like with anything above 15.1, to be honest. For me, that's a good enough sell when it comes to the staking rewards. But of course, my main bag is there for the long term, holding it, waiting for that bull market. Whatever happens, happens, right? Hopefully, we'll get another one of these surprises, but who knows, right? Anyway, I'm really happy to see this. Let's hope this can hold. But yeah, if we are to push higher, I do think that 20 cents is a good possibility here. We will encounter some resistance around 20 cents. Quite a lot of it, in fact, because of all this area here. So we've got a lot here at 20 cents. As you can see, we've got this area here. We've got this area here. We even have this around 19 cents here. So all of these are going to be resistance areas that we're going to struggle to break. But if we get to 20, I'm not going to complain. And I'm sure you won't complain either, right? Everyone's going to be happy. So let's just hope we're not going to dump much below 15 cents. I mean, even if we get to like 13 and we manage to hold around the same way, you know, like we did here, I mean, there's no reason to complain. If you can get like a full month of 13 cents, that would still be good, right? But let's hope we don't see much lower prices. Next, let's look at NEER. Now, NEER, 27 cents is not doing great. Again, exactly the same situation there with NEER. Ever since we had that dump, it was just struggling to recover, but it's not able to get back to that 30-cent range where it was before, you know, where things were looking okay. We're even at 40 cents for a while. Things were so good here, but it gave us that feeling that we're not going to see stabilization here just because of the way this was moving. So it was pretty obvious here that we're going to go a bit higher, but we didn't know how much higher. But then, you know, the selling pressure was just too high, and this is the shame. Because remember, people are still getting their crowd loan rewards, and so those people can stack up over time and then sell a bunch of NEER and you know, just get out at whatever price because they consider it a good deal. And this is for the people that don't actually want to hold NEER long term, right? So yeah, we need to wait for that BIT token to start trading. I think when we're going to get that on some exchanges, things are going to be better. It's going to be okay for us who are actually staking NEER, you know, and holding it long term. And of course, waiting for that BIT token to trade, and we'll see how it's going to be when it gets listed on those dexes. So that's again another good side income. Of course, depending on how you want to look at it, if you plan to build in the metaverse, then that's fine. Of course, that's another option. But if you want to use it just to sell it and to make profit, you know, you can do that, of course. Now, 36 cents is going to be quite a resistance here. As you can see, we do have multiple areas here of resistance around 36 cents. So we're going to encounter some difficulties there. Now, if we are to drop lower, there's this area here. Let me see if I can zoom in. I'm not sure why it's not zooming in for me here. But there's this area here around 24 cents, which is holding quite okay. So we could potentially see us holding quite okay around 24 cents, this area here. But I wouldn't be happy to see that. Of course, nobody will, right? Let's hope it doesn't happen. But if it was to happen, that's where we can expect to hold. Next, let's look at KMA. Okay, Calamari. It's once again at this support area here. It's holding quite okay around this support area. We may not see another pop to the upside, although we did get quite a pop here, but we may not see like a trend reversal yet. At least not yet, right? It looks bullish here because it looks like we broke above this area here, which happened back on the 12th, 11th, and no, between the 10th and 12th of November. And it looks like we've managed to break above that. So it looks like there is a trend reversal here. But it's still too early to say for sure if we're going to continue this or if it's going to hold around this area and accumulate. It all depends on how much buying pressure there is, because remember, there are resistance points around here and then there are more resistance points around here as well. So we'll have to see. Now, with regards to RMRK, I'm sorry to say here that you know, Bruno publicized an announcement. Bruno publicized an announcement today to say that unfortunately KuCoin on the US side, like the US version of KuCoin, has delisted RMRK because of the US regulations there. So they just didn't want to cause any problems for people in the US. But of course, if you were interested to get in to RMRK from the US, the other option is the decentralized exchanges. As always, not financial advice, it's your choice. But if you want to decentralize the exchange as an option, Bruno actually mentioned that in his article. And as you can see, because of that, we had quite a dump here. I mean, we were holding quite okay around 217. We're accumulating, and then bang, as soon as the news came out, fear dropped, right? So with the fear coming in, you know, it's always like that. You can't help it. This is the way it is, especially in a bear market. It's even worse. If this was a bull market, you may have seen an even bigger drop, in fact, because the volume would have been much bigger, but then the recovery would also tend to be much bigger because of the volume that's being moved. So because we're still in this nasty bear market, I mean, this is the situation we're in. As you can see, as soon as we dropped here to like 180, someone was eager to get in and they bought all the way up to 208 here, 209 in fact. So yeah, quite a buy order here, but then we drop right back. Yeah, it is unfortunate. Somebody actually told me that there's a person here who wants to buy a bunch at 180 or 170. I think like they had like a humongous order there. So I don't know. Let me see if I can get that 2 decimals. It might take a while for this to load, so we'll see. Oh no, there we go. Yeah, so 178 12k and then 176 16k. Okay, so this is the person that they were telling me about, because there's nothing else below that. Oh, and then this one 155 91,000. Oh my gosh, this is the person they must have been referring to. Wow, that is a lot, right? That's 213,000 worth of RMRK all the way up to 155 here. Average price 161. Remember that the team do have about 1 million XC RMRK right now from the Skybridge land sale. So if the team were to sell here just to have more funding, they could. They'd get a nice bag here of 213k if they wanted to, and then that would take the price to 155. But to me right now, I'm still concerned about you know, getting into RMRK as it stands, just because the team hold a large amount of RMRK. They are free to sell at any time if they need funding, right, to continue development. And so I just don't want to be exit liquidity personally. I do have a bag of RMRK already. I'm okay with holding that long term. But if I was to buy more, I would probably wait until the price drops lower, because remember, in all of 2023, we're unlikely to see the market recover. So that's my perspective on it, right? The way things are going, the macro situation, things aren't looking good, right, with the war and all that's going on. So yeah, now if we were to go back up here, we would encounter a lot of resistance around 210. Just remember that, because we've been accumulating for so long. I mean, we're talking about a full month here of accumulation around $2.10. So that's going to act as resistance. Expect that to be very, very hard to break. And that's the situation that we're in. When it comes to the lower prices, we don't even have any area to go by, to be honest. So it could be anyone's guess. I would assume it would be 155 just because of that person's huge buy wall there holding us. But aside from that, yeah, that's the way I see it, unfortunately. Let's move on and talk about Astar as well. Astar is actually doing really well. It is going back into the uptrend here. As you can see, it went from 3.6 cents all the way up to like 4.6 cents. And it continued. It had a few pops here down to a few weeks down to the downside, but it has recovered quite quickly, so that's good. It's definitely good news. You can't complain about that. We'll see how things go. It will encounter some more resistance here. It's already at resistance, as you can see here. The next one would be around 4.3, then more around 4.5, but then once it's breaking above that, then we can expect 5 cents once again, which is going to be bullish, of course, considering most people might have gotten in and accumulated around this 3.8 cents range, maybe even lower if they manage to get in around here. But I would say around 3.5 to 3.8 cents is like the average buy-in for most people who wanted to get in. And so I'm sure most people are okay-ish right now, considering that they can just stake it and generate some staking rewards there. Let's move on and talk about GLMR as well. GLMR had the same kind of pop, change of trend here. As you can see, it had like a lot of buy here, a lot of buys here, 47 cents, 47.5 almost. Actually went right above 47.5, which is awesome, from 36 cents and 35 cents. So it had a good area of accumulation and support here. And then boom, you know, as soon as it got the news, it popped. So that's usually what happens. You know, even in a bear market, if you've got bullish news, the community will buy at the end of the day. And not necessarily the community as in the retail, but even whales could buy as well. Let's move on and talk about MOVR here. So MOVR is 880. Again, it had a few wicks, as you can see here. MOVR always tends to have these kind of wicks. It had a good accumulation area of 770. They're acting as support. Now the next resistance area would be around 1030. Quite a lot of resistance around 1030, to be fair. So expect that to be hard to break. 1020 as well. We've got more around 1040. Yeah, that's the situation with MOVR, unfortunately. Now let's move on and talk about AUSD here as well. Let's take a look at AUSD and see how it's doing. 23 cents. Okay, so AUSD doesn't seem to be recovering here. It still has that ST label. Yeah, it still does. I'm surprised that it's been so long and the KuCoin team still haven't delisted AUSD yet. I'm surprised. I don't know why. Maybe they're waiting on something. I'm not sure. But yeah, things aren't looking good here for the Acala team and for the stability, in inverted commas or in quotes, for AUSD. Let's look at Acala as well. Let's see how Acala has been doing. ACA down 2% in the last 24 hours, 14 cents from 11 cents because it had this humongous 2x pop here to 21 cents. There was definitely some whale involvement here, and this looks very similar to what happened with Phala. Remember, Phala went from 7 cents to 48 cents because of the market makers. So my suspicion here is that Acala had some market makers help pump this, right? I think they had some contract in place because it's the only way you can explain this, right? How else can you explain it? Without any kind of bullish news whatsoever, what would come out of nowhere just like that, right? Unless it's market makers. Market makers can do that, right? And then they'll take the price higher because, of course, there's going to be a lot of sellers wanting to get out, but also it's going to take the price higher because bots tend to buy back, you know, even when there's a dump. So it tends to stabilize unless there are a lot more sellers. So we'll have to see if this is going to continue, if this is the new level for Acala. It all depends what they're doing. It all depends on the news they give us, the announcements they make, but it looks pretty much like there is some market maker involvement here. So just be wary of that as well. It doesn't mean that the price is going to hold this way. It could, but we could also see 10 cents once again because remember, the aggressive unlocks are still happening every single day. Crowd loan rewards and also other investor rewards as well. Other investor distributions as well. So just keep that in mind. But yeah, let's take a look at KSM and DOT as well before we end this. KSM, how are you doing? $30. Now KSM is also starting a new uptrend, which is great considering it was 25 bucks. I was accumulating around this area. and now it's holding quite okay around 30 because it does move with Bitcoin, right? Everything moves with Bitcoin. We are going to encounter resistance around 32, as you can see here, hence why the 24-hour high is 31.28. So yeah, quite a lot of resistance at 32, some more resistance at 33.5, some more resistance at 36. So there's plenty and plenty of resistance here for Kusama, also at 39, more resistance here. So yeah, plenty of resistance points here, even up to 40 bucks. It's going to be really hard for us to see that. There's going to be a lot of resistance pushing us back down, but it all depends, right? It all depends on Bitcoin at the end of the day. If Bitcoin surprises us and revisits that 20k range, because it could very well do so, then we could potentially see Kusama retest $40 and maybe stick around there for a while. Now let's look at DOT as well as the final one for today. Let's see, DOT USDT. 556 here. So once again, just like with Kusama, it had that pop to the downside, $5, and then it just went back up here with this BTC pop, but it is at resistance. So once again, resistance 554, 555. As you can see, all these resistance points are holding it now. The next area would be around 620, which is pretty good, right? We could see 620 here. We will see. Let's see, what else do we have here? So this is the one that we're currently at now. So 575 might be problematic as well before 620. Yeah, I think 575 and then 620. And then, yeah, and then there's more at 620 here. So as you can see, there are resistance points all around here. So yeah, it looks to me like 620 is the hardest resistance area to break, and once we get past that, we should be okay. So hopefully, like I said, if Bitcoin does retest 20k, we could see $6.24 DOT. If not, we could go back down to this area of 510. That's been it from today's video. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon in the news video for today. Have a lovely day. Bye-bye.